am completely in awe by all of you here tonight. I've hugged so many people from so many of the vast circles that I've gotten to touch on in Anita's life here tonight, and I haven't reached all of you yet. Look out, I'm coming. This is so beautiful. You know, I can't really remember a birthday party that we might have had for her that would have been as beautiful as this. So thank you for being here to celebrate her on her next flight with us from Ramona Airport. Oh, what a better place, right? You probably have all heard of the well-known African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child. Auntie Anita was a very, very important stronghold in our very vast village, as you can see by looking around here tonight. She certainly was instrumental in raising at least 8 of us, right? My sister, my 2 cousins, and our 4 kids, and I know probably more. I've gotten messages this week from kids that I went to elementary school saying how important she was in their happy childhood too. I didn't know that. Timing has been kind of a lesson that Anita taught me through all of these years. I turned 40 this year. Timing showed up just this morning. While thinking about what I would say tonight, I needed to ask her for some help because what do I say? Except I love you. I rarely sit down long enough in my adult life to watch movies, and I know Chauncey and Anita shared a lot of movies together, and they're really good at quoting back and forth. I really stink at that. I'm terrible at that. So I happened to turn on the TV this morning, which I never do, and lo and behold, thank you, Auntie Anita, Phenomenon, the John Travolta movie where he gets he thinks he's struck by an alien craft, right? But it's a brain tumor that gives him superhuman powers. I couldn't really sit through the whole movie, but I asked my son to. Lucas, you're going to love this movie. Sit down and watch it. So he did, and by the time I got to sit down and watch the movie, it was at the part where the doctor is talking with him about wanting to perform open brain surgery in the name of science, that it would be an expedition, that he would be important for the discovery in science. And John Travolta's character says, I'll tell you what I am. I'll tell you what I think I am. I think I am what everybody can be. The tumor just helped me get here, okay? I mean, anybody can get here. I'm the possibility, not my brain. I think you've got this desperate grasp on technology and this grasp on science, and you don't have a hand left to grasp what's important. If I had to choose between a tumor that got me here and some flash of light from an alien aircraft, I'd choose the tumor. I would, because it's here within us. What I'm talking about is the human spirit. That's the challenge. That's the voyage. That's the expedition. Timing is what Anita taught me, and she showed me it again this morning by bringing me this quote in the movie. And I really believe, and I know that in some way, somehow, the very vastness of all of you being here tonight, she showed you that she is the perfect example of human spirit. There were so many adventures with my Auntie Anita. I'm just going to blast from the past here. I'll shout out a few. One of her earlier prized possessions was her Nissan 280Z. Y'all remember that one? It was white, it was cute, 2-seater, it was 5-speed. And when I was 12, she took me for a 10-minute driving lesson in the parking lot at Hanson Lane Elementary. I was 12. Just started at all of Pierce Middle School. But yeah, Hanson Lane. She immediately drove me out to Dye Road, where she said, all right, honey, get in the driver's seat. Let's see what she's got. Open her up. I was really happy for her last year when she bought her 380Z. Other adventures included the fact that one of the guide dog puppies that I raised, that I know a lot of you here loved also, was kind of a tease and a fluke from Guide Dogs for the Blind. They named him Clark after her husband at the time, so we would all get confused who we were talking to. Clark, sit. Clark, down. Clark, fetch. You know, right? Ha ha ha. Thank you, Guide Dogs for the Blind, Chuck. I know you were part of that. Another extremely important to me adventure was the Auntie Nita and my Auntie Bub and all of our family on both sides, dads and moms. They retrofitted the love bridge between our families when they hand-sewed bridesmaids' dresses together for me in the mid-1990s. We've been so connected since then, and I love that. We're all family. Absolutely. Throughout college, I was blessed to run her second camera, largely videotaping Chance's performances. But she was thriving in her RLS video service, and she needed a second camera, and I was really blessed to be called on to do that because she taught me during those times how to capture, like my husband does now with his photography. She taught me how to capture the human spirit through timing at weddings and dance recitals, etc. Fast forward a few years, our village got bigger. She became a great aunt. And the stronghold that she holds in our village grew even deeper. She would trek from Ramona to Fallbrook. Y'all know where Fallbrook is? I didn't know where Fallbrook was when I moved there. It's a good hour that way. She would babysit my Lucas, who's now 12, so that my husband and I could work. For a solid few years, she did that with nothing in return. One of my greatest adventures with her, though, has really helped me cope with the loss of her these last 11 days. It's only been 11 days. It's only been 11 days. Can you all believe that? During one of her first few solo flights, probably wasn't her first solo flight, but I was old enough to know what scared was, not like this wee one here. I might have been 11 or so. She took me for a trip from this very airport to Palm Springs over the San Gregorio Mountains. I think for a lunch date to meet Grandma and Grandpa. I think they might have just purchased their motorhome. We were going to go meet for lunch, and they were test driving it. So takeoff was gorgeous. As you can imagine, over this valley and the night that you're seeing here, the scenery below was amazing. We were flying, Anita and I, we were flying together. We've done that a few times since then. It was smooth sailing until we got over, like Idlewild, the San Gregorio Mountains. When we hit a bunch of air pockets, I call them, right? You know those when you get turbulence when you're in the big airplanes? Please buckle your seatbelt. Well, she didn't say that. I call them air pockets. Up, down, super fast. A few times. She handled it with precision, like an expert pilot, like she'd been doing it for tens of years. Then we went through a whopper. Whip. And she starts busying herself with the buttons and the control. And then we go way down, and she yelps out, "Oh, shit!" I'm 11. I know what fear is, Chompa. I'm sorry you didn't. And in our sisterly, auntie-ly, mama-ly, super best friendly way, I just looked at her like she would have looked at me and said, what do you mean, oh shit? I drove home with Grandma and Grandpa that day. I did. Have a good trip, Auntie Nita. Those intense up and downs I experienced with her that day are very much like the roller coaster of emotions that I've been feeling since she's gone for 11 days now, and since finding out her diagnosis just like 8 days before that. Remembering that day with her helped me remember that these human being feelings that all of us are feeling, I know each of you have felt them, and you may continue to, are completely natural. And rather than fight them or ignore them or stuff them down, ride them, baby. Get in that driver's seat, open her up on Die Road, and feel every single one. She will meet you there. She lived for adventure. She danced freedom.
I need light.
Canon friends, I know you know what that one is. She loved being in joy. She shared herself that way passionately and with reckless abandon. Mm-hmm. She lived, and I believe she continues to live on when all of us leave here tonight and go out and live and love as she did while she was here. And I love that you're all here. Thank you so much for coming. I feel like I'm 5 years old again in Auntie Nita's arms just by being here with all of you. Thank you.